Até agora, os empresários...
The 1984 Summer Games were the first Olympic Games that I had photographed. It was the women's final of the 3,000 meters race, and the expected favorite, Mary Decker, who was running for the United States, was running against a large field that included Zola Budd, a young South African runner, and this was to be one of the great matchups of the Olympics that year. I am not a sports photographer. I had been fighting the competition of trying to be at the finish line with a lot of my colleagues. So I wandered down the sidelines and I found a nice quiet little place about 50 meters down the track. The race came on, and after about 5 laps, you could see that Zola Budd was about ready to make her move. And she started to come around on the outside, and I had to then change cameras again to the short lens. And as they came by me, unbelievably, in my viewfinder, I saw that there was some kind of a collision, and then I saw Mary Decker fall down on the ground. And I immediately picked up the other lens, the telephoto lens, and shot the close-ups. The whole thing happened in about 15 seconds. Then the nurse was over there, and then all of a sudden the doctors came, and the moment was finished. Well, that night I got home, and I phoned my wife, and I said, honey, I have good news and bad news. The bad news was that Mary Decker fell during her race today. Good news was that she did it right in front of me.
Tudo começou em Atenas em 1896. Concebidos por Pierre de Coubertin, os Jogos Olímpicos reúnem 81 atletas de todo o mundo. Um século mais tarde, os Jogos Olímpicos recebem 10.700 atletas. Nas Olimpíadas de 36 em Berlim, todos os rituais estão a postos, quando o negro americano Jesse Owens provoca a ira de Hitler. Emitidas para todo o globo, as Olimpíadas tornam-se uma tribuna política. Punhos levantados nos Jogos de 68 no México, o ataque palestiniano à equipa israelita e o boicote americano após a invasão soviética do Afeganistão. Em 84, os países do leste boicotam os Jogos Olímpicos americanos. Entretanto, atletas profissionais invadem a maior reunião do desporto. Os Jogos Olímpicos tornam-se um grande negócio que envolve mais de 3.000 milhões de dólares. Está muito longe dos sonhos do seu criador. Acusada de ter planeado a queda de Mary Decker, Zola Budd foi desqualificada. Mais tarde é reclassificada com 6º lugar, depois de vencer um recurso. A atleta descalça põe termo à sua carreira internacional.
My exact memory of the race is, at this moment, quite cloudy. The next lap I saw Mary lying on the inside of the track, crying, and the crowd started booing and being abusive to me personally, and I realized something must have happened between me and Mary because she was running just behind me. And I started running slower and slower because I just couldn't run anymore. The whole motivation was gone. Everything that I had inside me at that moment was just completely gone. If there was no photograph of this moment, I would have kept my own version of, or own memory of it in my mind, and it wouldn't have been as vivid and I guess so heartbreaking as this one. I think it wouldn't have been as, it wouldn't have made the moment so real again. I see the anger and the hurt on her face. It's obvious. I can feel it. Even by looking at this photograph, I can feel her anger, yes. Yeah. I think it's direct to me personally, I guess.
Era conhecida como a Divina. Ausente dos Jogos Olímpicos de 80 devido ao boicote americano, Mary Decker depositara as suas esperanças em Los Angeles. Atualmente ainda é atleta de competição, mas os seus sonhos olímpicos já se esvaneceram.
It took me a long time before I could even look at that photograph. You know, for many years. I mean, now it's, you know, it's history. You know, I suppose I'm used to seeing it. But I don't bear a grudge to the photographer for the photograph, just like I don't bear a grudge against Zola. You know, it just happened. It happened. He took the photograph. You know, it's part of life. I am an emotional person, and I put my emotion into my sport. And, you know, this is what happens when it's not good. Now people look at it and they understand that sports is very human, that, you know, you're not a machine, and you're not out there just to smile for the camera. But I think in 1984, people didn't realize that so much. I was criticized a lot for a long time for crying, you know, and I didn't understand that. And then since then, over all these years, I watch sporting events on TV and I see grown men playing football, crying, basketball, crying, baseball, crying. You know, and I thought, well, now, why wasn't I supposed to cry?